At one point, you weighed 365 pounds?
365, yeah.
365. How much do you weigh right now?
270.
Okay.
Yeah.
365 is a lot. I mean, you're 6'4".
Yeah.
You're a bit taller than me.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I weigh like 205 these days.
Right.
You know, and I lost like 25 pounds.
Right.
But 365 is, I mean, that's essentially obese.
Essentially, nigga. That's obese.
That's obese.
Like,
it's an unhealthy weight. It's an unhealthy weight.
It depends on who you are, right? If you're fucking, I don't know, if you're, all of these things are dependent on like your body type and what it is you're doing. So if you're the giant from the WWE, or if you're like, I'm sure Shaq got up to 365 at some point. It depends on who you are. But yeah, for most people, that's going to be an unhealthy weight.
Right. And I know for me, I lost my weight when the pandemic hit and I started seeing the connection between obesity and death.
Sure, yeah.
You know, from COVID, that made me say, okay, I'm really going to take it seriously now. I changed my whole diet. I started tracking my calories. I started, hitting my treadmill every day, and I lost it. And, for me, it was almost a self, preservation kind of thing.
Yeah.
What exactly caused you to gain that much weight? Because when I met you, you were thinner than you are now.
Yeah. So I gained 30 pounds during the pandemic. So we're the opposite. So I'm still trying to get that off right now. And, maybe I will, or maybe this is the fluffy version of me for the rest of my life. Who knows?
Who knows?
But, I have a book coming out. The book is called Fat, Crazy, and Tired. And it talks about this. A lot of it has to do with, obviously, they're all individual choices that you make about your health and your body, right? But it's something to choice if you don't know that you're making it. Like, are you really in control if you're programmed a certain way? That's why the most important thing to do as an adult is not to learn, but to unlearn. Because everything that you've learned coming up has been programming. It's been programmed to you by your parents, by your society, by the police, by whomever. And then when you get to a point you decide what health looks like for you, you have to actually unlearn and deprogram from things, right?
Yeah.
So like, for me, getting to 365 wasn't hard at all.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
Gaining weight is the easiest thing ever.
Yeah, it wasn't difficult at all. It's like a situation where I was playing ball and, competing sports-wise. It was pretty easy to check my weight. But then after that, I live in a community where we eat. We celebrate with food. Like, when I lost my dad, I was in the thralls of trying to lose weight, and people were sending food left and right. And they're sending it not because they want to see me gain weight, but because they want me to feel comforted. So in Louisiana, where I'm from, we comfort each other with food. We comfort each other with drink. We comfort each other by sitting around and talking. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But for me, I overindulged into that. And one thing that I tend to do is overindulge. I'll overindulge creatively and write 5-6 days in a row without stopping. I'll overindulge intellectually and just read, and not give my brain a break. I'll overindulge on porn. I remember I used to come here. Vlad TV was my gateway to just like watch the porn stars talk. I used to be like, God damn, that's a person? Fuck. Look at her. She got like all kinds of ideas, and look, it was very important. So I used to come, but I would overindulge in food. And for a time in my life where especially during points before I got out to LA, I pulled away from people a little bit. But the one thing that never says no to you is food.
Yeah.
You might want a bunch of other things to make you feel better, right? You might want a person to make you feel better. You might want a situation to make you feel better. You might want like your parents or somebody to make you feel better. You might want to, and they might all say no because they have agency. Food has no agency. If you want the food to make you feel better, it will. There was one time when I tried to turn the food to make me feel better, and I couldn't, and it didn't work out. It was a very pathetic story. I'll tell it real quick. I worked at Best Buy, store 495, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Mall of Louisiana, Best Buy. And there was a Bennigan's that was in a parking lot on the other side of the Best Buy. You know how you go to one of those malls, and then on the outskirts of the mall, there are all of these shops, and there's a Best Buy and stuff. So I was working, it was a holiday. And my thing is, after I worked at Best Buy and dealt with the customers all day, I like to unwind with a Bennigan's feast. Okay. And this was my Bennigan's feast.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so crazy because I had a specific way that I would order this. So my Bennigan's feast was like, they had these amazing chicken tenders at Bennigan's, but they were huge, right? And you had a choice of 2 sides, and I would get a loaded baked potato and the fries, which the women at Bennigan's just didn't understand. Like you would go there and you would order the shit and they'd be like, you sure you don't want a broccoli or nothing like that? You got the loaded baked potato and the fries? And I'd be like, yeah. And then I would get like the fudge brownie after it. So the whole 9, like we going nuts at Bennigan's. We going crazy. And sometimes in order to do this, when I would go there, I would make a fake phone call. So I would go to the Bennigan's and I would be ordering the food. And then I'd be like, hey, yo, I'm at Bennigan's. Y'all want something?
You pretend to order for someone else.
Yeah. And then they'll be like, oh, you want one of these brownies? Can I get a brownie? Brownie. Yeah, you want the fries? Because they come with 2 sides. I get the fries. The fries? Yeah, you get the fries. You can have the fries. All right, you don't want nothing else? You want no meal or nothing? Okay, cool. All right, yeah, put the fries in there, blah, blah, blah. And the woman looking at me pathetic like, nigga, I know this is all for you. I know this is yours. But I remember I'm thinking about the Bennigan's. I'm like, oh my God, man, it's great. I'm going to be able to soothe with food. It's going to be amazing. And I get outside and I look over in the parking lot and there are no cars. I'm looking because I could see it from the Best Buy parking lot. I see there's no cars. I'm like, nobody's fucking with Bennigan's. It wasn't dawning on me that it was Christmas Day, right? It wasn't dawning on me that it was Christmas or Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, one of the days that we had to work on Best Buy. I worked every holiday. And so I go over there and there's one car in the back. Maybe somebody's in there cleaning up or something. I'm thinking, maybe, they got somebody's in there. And as I get closer and closer to the Bennigan's, it starts to dawn on me that they're closed. There will be no food. And I remember I still, knowing it was closed, drove all the way into the parking lot, got out of the car, walked up to the thing and was looking in. I'm looking into the Bennigan's.
Like a crackhead, basically.
Like a crackhead. Like, I got no chicken fingers in there. Like, I'm looking into the Bennigan's. I'm looking into it. And I cried.
Cry.
I'm not gonna bullshit you. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit you.
You could not get your chicken tenders that day.
I cried. Because I remember I went and sat down in the Taurus. And this was like a breaking point moment. It's in the book. This is like a breaking point moment for me. I went and I sat down in the Taurus. I get in the Taurus. I look at myself. I look around. Fucking Popeyes boxes in there and all kinds of shit like that. I'm like, yo, man, this is fucking pathetic. And I don't even get the high of the food. I'm like, I gotta change and I can't. And I cried. I was like, yo, man, I'm out of control. I'm like, yo, man, what? I gotta stop. I gotta do better. I'm out of control. I cried. And and I remember, I think about that all the time because it still be 5 years after that I would go ahead and lose weight. At my lowest, I was about 225. During this time, I get down to like 235 after I lose this pandemic weight. And that's why I'll stay for my whole life.
Well, as someone who, I'm very serious about my weight. I mean, at my highest, I think I was like 226. Mm-hmm. I'm 6'2". And I just want to tell everyone who's struggling with weight, what helps for me, at the end of the day, there's a certain number of calories that you could eat per day, which will maintain your weight. If you go over those calories, you'll gain weight. If you go under those calories, you'll lose weight.
You'll lose weight, yeah.
After you watch this interview, if you're struggling with weight, go weigh yourself. Mm-hmm. And realize that at this particular moment, this will be the heaviest you'll ever be in your entire life.
Yeah.
As long as you keep your calories under what you're supposed to eat moving forward.
Yeah.
You will never be heavier than this particular scale, what the scale is telling you right now, as long as you keep your calorie count, in your mind as you move forward.
Yeah.
It's really that easy.
It is. And it takes something, it's something that you have to be dedicated to, but yes. I think it was so easy. I think one of the easiest things in the pandemic to let yourself go was just, for me, I'm not gonna speak for anybody else. The reason why it was so easy to let myself go is because I just couldn't cope. I just needed something. you know? And like, I couldn't go. And normally, even when I came off my diet, I was hooping. I was out moving around and stuff. But like for months, they were telling you not to go outside. So I was inside baking banana bread and eat like inside baking banana bread, watching D Nice. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing. And then before you know it, and then I did actually, this is another thing that people, I went through a severe bout of depression during the pandemic. And when I went through that, they prescribe medicine to you, and that medicine makes you gain weight.
Yeah. That part I don't know about. I've never gotten to the point of actually.
All right.
No, I remember going through some health issues. I remember they prescribed an antidepressant to me. I took like 1 or 2 pills and it made my head cloudy. And I'm like, no,
I'm done. I can't do it.
I'm done forever. I never took another antidepressant in my whole life. And yeah, man, it's a tough thing. And, I mean, listen, I've interviewed, Buster Douglas, who, the biggest upset in sports history. He beat Mike Tyson. But then when he fought Evander Holyfield, he lost. And, everyone pretty much said he just kind of took the money and he took a fall.
Douglas thing.
Yeah. And I think he got up to like 400 pounds.
It was big.
And he put himself into a diabetic coma.
Yeah.
And almost died. And then after that, he got his life together.
Right.
But he almost died.
Yeah.
Diabetic coma. I mean, he didn't have diabetes, before the Holyfield fight.
Right.
He gave himself diabetes from depression and eating and almost killed himself. So keep that in mind, for everyone who's watching, like, it's serious. I'm 48 years old. I realize that if I want to continue to live and enjoy this life that I've built up for myself, I have to keep my weight down.
Right.
I have to exercise. I have to watch my calories. I have to not eat the way I just was eating when I was 20 years old. My metabolism isn't the same. And then there's COVID on top of it that kills off obese people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's what it is. I'm glad that, you took it seriously. I'm glad that you lost weight.
Yeah.
And, I think you're an important person. We want to keep you around.
Yeah. And I want to continue to do it. This is, I'm boxing now 5 days a week. I'm there with Phil Polina. I'm boxing.
Nice.
Me and Nick Young and all of the guys, we're in there boxing. So it's peeling off, but more importantly, it's about feeling good.
Yeah.
We get to a point to where you're healthy and you feel good.
Yeah.
And, you define that for yourself.